Let's talk about a totally different way to hit your goals. One that isn't about gritting your teeth and trying harder, but about building a smarter system for yourself. So if you are just so tired of quitting, this explainer is definitely for you.
Does this sound familiar? You start a new diet, a new study plan, a goal to save money. You pour everything you have into it. You really, really try. And then, what happens? A few weeks later, you're right back at square one, feeling totally exhausted and honestly pretty frustrated. Well, you are not alone, and it turns out there's a really good reason this keeps happening.
To get what I mean, let me tell you a little story. Picture two kingdoms, side by side. In the try-hard kingdom, everybody is just struggling all the time, but they're not getting anywhere. But right next door, in the no-try kingdom, people seem super relaxed, yet they're winning Olympic gold medals and are unbelievably happy and rich. Our story is about a young woman named Misaki, who leaves her frustrating home to go find out what their secret is.
So Misaki finally makes it to the successful no-try kingdom, and the very first thing she sees is, well, it's pretty weird. She bumps into this guy who invites her over to his house to meet his family. And what she sees there is the very first clue to all of their success. Every single person in the family, the mom, the dad, the kids, they're all wearing the exact same thing, a black sweater and jeans. Misaki's confused, so she asks, "Is there some kind of special event today?" And they just smile and say, "Oh no, we wear this every day." Now, why on earth would anyone do that? It sounds so boring, right? But Misaki is about to learn this has nothing to do with fashion. It's all about energy.
And here's the wild science behind their strange habit. It turns out, neuroscientists think that we humans only have the mental juice for about 10 high-quality decisions in a single day. That's it, just 10. What to wear, what to eat, which route to take, every little choice chips away at our most precious resource. There's a name for this. It's called decision fatigue. The more tiny, meaningless choices you make all day, the less brain power you have left for the big stuff, like, say, sticking to your workout or saying no to junk food. That family wasn't being boring. They were being strategic. They were saving all of their decision-making power for the things that actually mattered.
So the big takeaway here is you've got to cut down the number of choices you have to make. You can start by fixing things. Just think about Steve Jobs and his iconic black turtleneck. That was one less decision he had to make every single morning. Or the baseball legend Ichiro, who ate the same curry for breakfast every day. You can even fix your bedtime, like this station attendant Misaki met, who was dead set on being asleep by 9 p.m. sharp. All of it saves that precious mental fuel.
Okay, so you've stopped wasting all this energy on tiny little decisions. What's next? Well, the second secret Misaki learned was how to take all that saved energy and channel it into actions that basically run themselves, completely on autopilot.
And the absolute key to putting things on autopilot is something called a trigger. Misaki learned about this from a guy she saw just drop and start doing push-ups in the middle of the street. So she asks him why, and he says, "Oh, I have a rule. Whenever I see a beautiful woman, I do push-ups." Now, okay, the example is a little out there, but the principle behind it is pure genius. He attached a new habit he wanted, exercise, to an automatic cue that was already in his environment. He totally removed the friction of having to decide when to work out.
And this gives us a super simple formula you can use right away. You just piggyback a new habit you want onto an old one that's already established. I mean, after I brush my teeth, you don't even have to think about that, right? It's automatic. So by linking your new habit to that trigger, you put the new thing on the very same automatic track. But you have to be careful because this whole trigger thing works both ways. Your environment is absolutely full of triggers, and a lot of them might be pointing you toward bad habits. If your drive home takes you right past your favorite fast food place, that's a trigger. So the key is to consciously design your surroundings. Change your route. Put your gym clothes right by the front door. Make the good triggers super obvious and the bad ones totally invisible. Later, Misaki met this old yachtsman who gave her this amazing metaphor. He told her that relying on willpower is like using a motor with a tiny little gas tank. Sure, it's powerful for a bit, but it runs out really, really fast. But building a system of triggers and habits, that's like putting up a giant sail. You're harnessing a force that's natural and completely limitless. You move forward without burning any of your own fuel. Now, of course, getting a new habit started takes a little bit of repetition before it clicks and becomes automatic. Misaki found out about 2 really clever tricks for this. She met a salesman who, instead of getting bummed out by rejection, he actually celebrated it. His goal was to get 1,000 no's so he could earn a fancy sushi dinner.
She also found a cafe that offered free English lessons with a free slice of cake, so people came for the cake, but they ended up staying for the English. These little tricks make that tough, early phase of repetition feel like a game.
So, you've fixed your routines to save energy, and you've created triggers to put new habits on autopilot. Great. What's the final piece of the puzzle? The last secret Misaki discovered was how to make sure these new systems actually last for good. And the key? It's all about making them visible.
And this really boils down to two simple things: declaring your goal out loud to other people and recording your progress just for yourself. One creates accountability from the outside, and the other builds motivation on the inside. When you put them together, they are incredibly powerful.
When Misaki met people who were shouting their goals from the rooftops, she had this big realization. Think about Luffy from One Piece. When he first declared he was going to be king of the pirates, he had no crew, no ship, no real power at all. The point is, you don't need to be confident or have a bunch of skills to declare your goal. The act of declaring it is what creates the pressure and brings you the support to actually make it happen.
Then, she met a man who was writing a book about his own life. Just by writing down what he did every day, he was turning his own effort into a story. He could look back and literally see his progress, the hard evidence of his work. This simple act of recording your journey makes it feel real, and seeing that progress, well, that's the ultimate fuel for your confidence.
So, after all these strange meetings and weird lessons, Misaki finally understood the real secret of the no-try kingdom. It wasn't that the people there had more willpower than the people back home. Not at all. It was that they had a completely different philosophy.
And this right here is the core idea of this whole explainer. We love to think of successful people as these superheroes with unbreakable willpower. But the truth is, they're more like well-programmed robots. They have designed an operating system for their lives, using fixation, triggers, and visibility that makes success the automatic result. They don't try harder, they've just built a much better system.
So the journey out of that frustrating try-hard kingdom starts with just one small systematic change. You don't need some huge burst of motivation. You just need to build one little link, one connection between something you already do and something you want to start doing. So my question for you is, what's it going to be?